Hi guys, this is my first time trying this. Welcome to Cooking with Khriz DCI on my music page and then Chris Fuerte on my personal page. Today we are going to be making some donut holes and the recipe is pretty simple. So we're going to be starting off with 1 cup of plain flour. Gonna get it nice and full. Not overly full, but just enough. Level it out. Make sure it's nice and level. You got your 1 cup right here. Now you're gonna throw that into your mixing bowl. In this case, I'm using Tupperware for that. So that's done. And then step number 2, we are going to be doing 3/4 of a cup plus 2 tablespoons of Greek yogurt. So it's 1, 2, 3, and then plus 2 tablespoons as well. So that's also done. The recipe was really weird. I got it from Instagram. Oh dear, I seem to have made a mistake. I used my teaspoon instead of my tablespoon, which, yikes. So just a little bit more of that. Call it even, you know. We all make mistakes. Gotta start somewhere. So we finished with the yogurt. Don't make that same mistake that I did where I mistakenly used my teaspoon instead of my tablespoon, which, big no, don't do it. That was my bad. Now we go on to the next step, which is, and this time it is the right one, 1 teaspoon of baking powder. This is the one that's in the house that we use, and it's the Clabber Girl baking powder. It's pretty nice. It's pretty solid, I would say. 1 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon. Make sure it's nice and level. Give the level if you have it. Dump that in there. Also, beforehand, I made my sugar and cinnamon mix before, so that way I can get that out of the way without having to worry too much. Then from there, we're done with the baking powder. Combine the dry ingredients, add in the yogurt until dough. We've done all of that. We've done all the good stuff. This recipe is really, really weird. So it also says for you to preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is in Celsius. But you combine the dry ingredients. Now we're onto the mixing process until it's a dough, essentially. Yeah, we just gotta mix and bake for 17 minutes or until golden brown. So just gotta mix this stuff in, get it nice, get it all up in there. It also says to pipe it out once it's all doughy, all that good stuff. Make sure you're getting all that good stuff. Get it all mixed up. Make sure there's no ingredients left behind. The recipe did say the dough is going to be sticky, so you just want to keep mixing until you can get it all nice and, well, doughy. So there will be cuts in the video due to, well, one, having to heat up the air fryer because I really don't want to use the oven. So we're gonna finish mixing all of this together, keep forming the dough. Oh wow, it is very, very sticky like the recipe said, which is pretty funny because I didn't think it would be this sticky, but it's actually really, really sticky. Obviously I do have to melt my butter at some point, so I will be getting onto that. But for this next step, you're gonna want to get, well, for me in my case, because I'm throwing it into the air fryer instead of baking it in the oven. My air fryer, the air fryer is set to, I think, 360 degrees, so just a little bit over. So I will have to be triple, quadruple checking, you know, to make sure everything is nice and going the way it's supposed to. So now that my dough is all nice and doughy, should look kind of like this. Very, very nice. Still a little bit left to mix in here. But what you're gonna want to do now is get your dough and put it into a piping bag, or if you don't have that, just a Ziploc bag. You're gonna want to put it like so into your bag, and from there, at least in my case, because I'm using a Ziploc bag, you would want to get the Ziploc bag, find your scissors, wherever they may be. Aha! I found my scissors. Okay. So you're gonna want to get your Ziploc bag nice and firm at the top, like so. Squeeze it, well, not squeeze, twist it shut. Have the scraper on standby. Clean up your area because no messes, especially right now. It's summertime, ants are everywhere. So clean up as much as you can while you're doing this. You're gonna want to cut the bag open. From there, get your, well, in my case, like I said, air fryer. You're gonna cut it, squeeze your dough out, form little balls. Now, once again, squeeze it as big as you want the dough ball. Now, unravel it. In my case, because I feel like the dough is getting kind of stuck, I'm gonna push down with the level. Make sure I'm getting it where I need it to be. Obviously, this is not a professional setup, and by no means am I saying I'm a professional, because that's too much work, and this is realistic here. So, once again, you're gonna squeeze out as many as you want. In my case, I like even numbers, so I'm gonna go with 6. Even though I made enough dough for more. Oh, this is gonna be a big one. That is not quite a circle, but that's okay. Oh. No. Oh, never mind. I might be able to make 9. Okay, cool. So, I have enough space in here to make 9, which actually is very, very good, all things considered. That is also not a ball, but we ball. It is what it is. Now this is a ball. So that's number 7. feel like the Pillsbury Doughboy making this. This is very funny. Some would say kind of comedic. But obviously, you want to also leave some space in your container necessarily for room for the dough to expand, because, well, it's dough and eventually it expands because you're heating it up. So from there, I'm going to make my last one for this batch, and then the next batch, obviously, I'm not making on camera because I'm going to be a big back and eat. No! Okay, that is it for this batch, and I will see you guys in roughly 10 minutes. Oh dear. Okay, now picking up where we left off, they've been in the air fryer. Now they are oh Jesus, they are now golden brown. Now you take them out the air fryer. You can get them off the foil paper, dip them in butter, you know, get them all nice and coated, so that way you can actually coat them in the brown sugar. They're all nice golden brown. Ow! It's all very, very hot, obviously. And you're probably like, you dummy, of course they're hot. They just came out the air fryer. Which, to that I say, you are not wrong. And I burned my fingertips also because the butter is hot. So that is not fun at all. But now, get them all nice and covered. And all nice and buttery, you know. Put them in the container that you have chosen, which in my case is this container, where I put my brown sugar, and well, not my brown sugar, my sugar and cinnamon mix. So throw them both in there. Oh well, I have a piece of foil paper here for that exact reason. So I can't find the lid. Oh, okay, they're just pulling off. Yummy and lovely. Now get them all nice and warm. Or not warm, but covered in butter. Cover them back up. Now, you now have, ooh, these actually came out pretty nicely. At least in my opinion. Some of them are a little bit bigger, some of them are a little bit smaller. But now you have homemade donut holes. Well, actually, they're technically mini Cinnabon. But that is okay, and that is great. And thank you guys for watching. And maybe this might become a semi-frequent thing. Who knows? Just trying it out. Cool. Thank you.